Today is Thursday, April 19th. Don't forget to donate if you haven't. RonPaul2012.com. We got to reach 2.5 million. We were supposed to hit it yesterday and we haven't. So, give what you can. I know we're hurting. I know we're struggling. But we'll be doing even worse if Ron Paul isn't president. So on today's show, going to talk about a couple headlines here. We're going to talk about a headline of what Ron Paul did for me. They like to call Ron Paul a racist, but we have here an ex-IRS agent, black female, that was actually incarcerated, was in jail, and she said Ron Paul helped her out while she was in jail. And we're going to speak on that. Also, an uplifting email I got from the Michigan Ron Paul headquarters. Somebody posted that on Ron Paul forums about the delegates. I think that was real good post. I'm going to read that. Red Cross calls for humanitarian drug policies that include decriminalization. So the Red Cross wants, basically drugs to be legal because they understand that the drug war is really a war on the people, or they're starting to, or some people are starting to understand that. Also, Karzai says U.S. must pay at least $2 billion per year to stay in, Afghanistan. And let's see, big government on steroids. Senate bill calls for black box recorders on all new cars. Seniors get the TSA runaround, lose $300. Police tie up 62-year-old man, then pepper sprays him to death. That came out, I think, a couple months ago, but I want to play that clip. Really important. It's sad what's going on. And cops take school kids' DNA in murder case. That's right. If there's a murder case that happens at your child's school, your child could be DNA tested, interrogated without you knowing. So we'll be jumping into all that. Right now, we got some good news. Ron Paul attracts 2,000 plus voters to University of Rhode Island town hall meeting. And I just want to make sure that we're coming in good today. Yeah. Okay, one moment. All right, I apologize. I just want to make sure we're coming through. We've been having connection issues here the last few days, and I just want to keep checking, make sure we're doing good. So, yeah, he attracts 2,000 plus voters to Rhode Island. And just remember that Rhode Island will be holding their primary Tuesday, April 24th. If you're in Rhode Island, you want to be sure to show up and vote. We need your vote. We need Ron Paul to win as many states as possible. Let's see here. Now, funny thing is, whenever Ron Paul visits anywhere, I always check the news stations in that area so I can get the local clip, whatever came on the news the night before, whatever information said about Ron Paul. Usually I get something, he was in L.A., wherever he goes, at least one or two of the stations report. So it's funny that in Rhode Island, I found like two articles. One of them was posted right when the rally started, just letting people know that he was having a rally, real short. And this other one is short as well. It says Ron Paul rally brings hundreds to University of Rhode Island. Now, the Ron Paul website says 2,000, so that means it was probably more than 2,000. So I don't know where they're getting hundreds from. It says here, Ron Paul spoke to a packed house on the University of Rhode Island campus on Wednesday night. The rally was the first time that Paul had visited Rhode Island during the 2012 election cycle and came less than a week before the state's primary. The majority of people at the rally were students and veterans, two groups that had been Ron Paul's most vocal and dedicated supporters, latching onto his views on freedom and liberty. And here, ABC6 was the only news station to speak to Ron Paul after the event concluded. You see, even they're saying it. But they don't have no clip. They don't have no video. I didn't have no video to play for you guys of them interviewing Ron Paul. It just says here, three-time presidential candidate told ABC6 News that the energy from his supporters helps to keep him motivated, even if his chances of winning the Republican Party's nomination or the Rhode Island primary seem like they're slim to none. Quote, we talk a little bit about the media claiming we're disappearing, yet crowds are getting bigger and money keeps flowing in. It's really sort of like a campaign is just really getting going. So we're always on the side of optimism, said Paul. So, yeah, they're not even, recording it. Or excuse me, not recording it, but they're not even playing any clips. Or it's more the media blackout. They don't want the truth out there, not even locally. They don't want to get it out there. Ron Paul is causing too much of a ruckus. Now, I have a little, let's see, I'm getting a little sound in my headphones. Let me check my volume real quick, one moment. Okay, and I apologize for that. It looks like everything is just happening on my end, so I'll have to work on that later. So let's see. So yeah, no one's media blackout. No one's talking. No one wants to say too much about him. This article was short itself. Don't forget though, that Ron Paul today will be at Cornell University, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 536 Campus Road, Ithaca, New York. Again, he will be holding a town hall at Liner Rink at Cornell University today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, on the Ron Paul website, we have a headline: Ron Paul campaign condemns Alaska GOP illegal exclusion of all non-Romney delegates to state convention. So the campaign ain't playing. This is what I'm talking about. You know, we got to let them know. It says here, the Ron Paul 2012 presidential campaign condemned today the efforts of the Alaska Republican Party and its chairman, Randy Ruderich, to disenfranchise Paul and other non-Romney delegates to the party's upcoming state convention. In doing so, the Paul campaign also announced that it will utilize all legal tools at its disposal to prevent or reverse the state's party's illegal efforts to omit non-Romney delegates to the convention. The state party initiated conflict in this regard is especially worrisome and politically sensitive, as the Paul campaign believes it won a significant portion of delegates at the Alaska State House District conventions already held. The Paul camp anticipates that its delegate tally at the upcoming state convention will increase as supporters of former candidate Rick Santorum, including fellow profile supporters, defect to the Paul camp or become non-Romney delegates to the Republican National Convention to be held late August in Tampa, Florida. In light of this, the issue has national party and political implications because it affects the conversation that will occur in Tampa over whether constitutionally limited government and an authentic commitment to the sanctity of life will prevail over the status quo. The Alaska Republican Party state convention is set to be held from April 26th to the 28th, and all previous communications to would-be delegates have stated that a delegate fee of $250 would be accepted up until the convention registration deadline, which is 2 p.m. Alaska time on April 26th. However, on Monday, the 16th, State Party Chairman Randy Ruderich called a state committee meeting at which he stated that delegate fees would be accepted no later than 48 hours from the time of the meeting, which would be Wednesday, April 18th. However, on Tuesday, the state party said that delegate fees had to be paid by 6 p.m. that evening. As individual delegates and campaigns scrambled to pay delegate fees, the starting party erected bizarre and allegedly extra-legal obstacles in front of Paul, pro-life, and other non-Romney delegates, and communications between self-identifying non-Romney delegates and state party personnel degraded. One example of the state party trying to frustrate Paul delegates wasn't exactly when and how delegates could remit their $250 fee. Acceptable methods of payment range from online credit card payment on the state party website, although the link to such had been inexplicably removed, to personal checks that were later said to be unacceptable, to money orders that in at least one case were termed unacceptable and returned. The state party, the Ron Paul campaign argues, moved its payment deadline and modified its acceptable ways of paying the $250 delegate fee expressly to frustrate Paul delegates and, in general, any delegates outside the tight circle of party-sanctioned non-Romney delegates. I mean, this is amazing what's going on, and it goes on to, I believe, to give another example. This is what we're dealing with. This needs to show you that we're not playing. That, we got to keep giving our money to Ron Paul. We got to keep him going. The establishment, the media, the right wing, left wing, the Democrats, they cannot stand this guy, and they're going to do everything they can to keep us from showing up, to scare us, to run us off, to discourage us, whatever they can. But they're realizing now that we outnumber them. The people that are waking up is growing. The message is spreading, and we're going to take over the GOP. Anyways, Occupy the Media. I'm Paco. We'll be back next break.
Dr. Ron Paul. More than 4,000 babies delivered. A man of faith, committed to protecting life.
This whole notion of life not being valuable just is something I was never able to accept. I happened to walk into an operating room where they were doing an abortion on a late pregnancy. They lifted out a small baby that was able to cry and breathe. And they put it in a little bucket and put it in the corner of the room and pretended it wasn't